Good evening, wonderful people. Welcome to my channel. Before I get into the next slide, I wanted to discuss some sort of a very fundamental principle of intimacy, which people don't think of when they are getting into relationships. They should, especially in the beginning when things are fresh. Whether you're dating, whether you're getting married, whether you're already married, doesn't matter where in the relationship dynamic each one of you are, but you need to get into it. And these are some of the fundamental principles of intimacy which unfortunately we are not taught this way. My best feeling on this right now is if we are all taught like this in schools, in universities, part of the mainstream education system, we will get much farther than we understand about such things right now. Okay, so what am I talking about? It doesn't matter how many volumes I sit and write about intimacy, or how many Masters and Johnson kind of manuals, or how many Kama Sutras, or how many types of Jyotish combinations I give you. If these two people on the screen are not willing to work with one another, nothing is going to happen. Magic in a relationship is brought on by two people volunteering to expose themselves much more than the physical. These days, especially, it's very easy to open up your clothes in front of a stranger, isn't it? With all the porn that is going around. So, what do we need to understand beyond the concept of physicality? Mars, I explained it in the first one. I'm taking it step by step so that the principles are grounded and well understood. Doesn't matter what astrology, it's not going to work. No astrological combination is going to work if there is no willingness on the part to understand some things. So, these two, this man and that woman over there, both are essentially what? They're consciousness. We are each one consciousness. Mainstream science will not accept it. Even psychology will not accept it. Imagine that. It's like you're just thinking Darwinian evolution in this day and age. Okay, never mind that. So consciousness, I'm putting it in a neutral term so that it can be understood, accepted, and worked with by all race, culture, religions. Because religions have their own dogma and doctrine so much around, each one to themselves, right? I'm trying to skip over that part and make it so that it is neutral to dogma. Let us not get into dogmatic stuff, please. So let's call each one has a consciousness. The man has a consciousness, the woman has a consciousness. Fair enough. In a relationship, I'll try to go as slow as possible. In a relationship, what does each of these individuals who are involved in a relationship truly desire? I'll put this 6 points to begin with. You can add more in the comments if you want. It requires nurturing. First of all, consciousness requires expansion, period. Any kind of contraction, judgment, blame, shame will fail a relationship faster than you can say tummy tuck. Okay? It'll fail really fast. And especially in the beginning stages, a lot of blame game goes on, a lot of throwing one another's wounds on one another goes on. This is why it is important to first understand your own shadow before you get into another person's shadowy aspects. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'll come to shadows later on. First, let us see what we are really desiring in terms of intimacy. Okay, first of all, in any consciousness, man or a woman, or even LGBT, whichever the dynamic is, it desires expansion. Contraction, when you feel contracted, that's not what consciousness desires. It wants to expand, it wants to learn, grow more than what it is. This is the whole idea of an intimacy. You get into a relationship to expand. Think of that initial feeling of love in the air, the whole world seems nice. You have just expanded your consciousness beyond what you were as an individual. That's what that feeling is. And that feeling needs to sort of continue, isn't it? The best possible outcome is it needs to continue for both individuals involved. So consciousness, all the arrows indicated on the screen are talking about expansion. So first, number one, this is just 6 points. You can add in like that. Think of expanded concept. Whatever makes your heart expand, your being expand, mind, body, emotions. So consciousness in each of these individuals on the screen are desiring nurturing. Number one, you need to nurture the other individual. One needs to. It has to be both parties. Okay. Because this is the primordial feeling we remember from our own mothers. We were nurtured, unconditional nurturing. Think of motherly care. Think of Cancer if you want to put zodiac. Think of Moon if you want to put a planet. That's why I tackle Moon first. That's number one. Number two, kindness. Something we have forgotten how to tell things kindly. It's all about rudeness. Just look at social media, how much it promotes rudeness. Even the platforms themselves, like X or Instagram, they promote so much of rudeness. The platform is doing a great disservice, mind you. There are other people, good people in the world, but it doesn't promote that. People want all negative news. This is the platform problem, not the human problem. But anyhow, we need kindness. We need to show more kindness. You might be having another opinion. Suppose these two couple are talking about something. It's fine to hold another opinion without making the other person inimical. Kindness. Always put kindness in the priority before you open your mouth to anything. Otherwise, you will destroy. Otherwise, there is contraction. Kindness expands. You feel like being vulnerable. That's the next point. Vulnerability. That requires a little lowering of barriers, isn't it? That requires being open in body, mind, your emotion. People are very ready to strip off their clothes, but what about your emotion? People are closed off. Even the husband and wife I've seen in so many restaurants when I go to, they sit across one another, both are older people, and they're quietly having their meal looking here and there. One does not even look at the other person's eyes. What happened to all their intimacy? It's destroyed, isn't it? There's no vulnerability there. Vulnerability, being open. And for this to happen, first of all, you need to be vulnerable with yourself. Intimacy with yourself, meaning you need to know your own shadows. Then you can be really humble. You cannot be putting your shadows and your barriers up and expect the other person to be vulnerable. That's not simply the way things work. Okay. That is silly at best. Okay. Third one, empathy. All empaths understand this. Okay. Some people are not having very high quotient of empathy. You got to cultivate it. What does it feel like to be the other person with their chart, with their Rahu Ketu, with all their shadows? You don't know. It's an experience. Life is an experience. You can't make everything into a big theory and expect the other person to fulfill all your needs. Intimacy is not about fulfilling needs. Intimacy is about being as deeply engaged as you possibly humanly can at all levels. Just a mouthful. Next one, allowance. You need to have allowance, not necessarily acceptance. Acceptance means you say, I accept this person along with whatever it is. No, you don't. You have your own personality. You have your own points of view. You have your own way of associating and engaging with the world in all the five sensory aspects, in the intellect. You have your own stuff. The other one has their own stuff. Fine. But you allow them to be who they are. Allowance is different from acceptance. It really requires some thought here. Then freedom. Last, I'm putting in this particular one before I get into Mrigashira with Anuradha Nakshatra. Before I start doing all these combinations, and important to understand principles, and I shall bring more and more of these along as I get them. So I'm just sitting in the balcony just now. I got this as a download. Freedom is one more thing you need. A lot of freedom needs to be given within relationships. I don't care which chart you match which one, and this is a big racket going on in India, the 36-point system, and you expect them to work. I've seen so many divorces like that. I've consulted relationships where everything on the chart, they said it's fine. I'm like, who matched your chart? You guys are not even a match. Anyway, freedom is needed. Freedom to be oneself. So a lot of that is going on. We can see good and not so good posts on social media, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, everywhere else, isn't it? People want to are demanding that they want more and more presence felt in themselves. They want more presence in their life. Okay. So this is what they are asking. This is the demand time. That's what they are asking. That's what they are after. Something cracked here. Anyway. Freedom is needed to be within a relationship. Whoever you are, however you are. That's one more thing to be taken care of. Now let's get into the details. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get into the matching principles. We are still in Mrigashira Nakshatra, the second of the Devgana. So there's the lady's moon in Mrigashira, not necessarily the first house. Take care of the house, it can be in any house. Mrigashira, and right opposite to that, the man's moon is in Anuradha Nakshatra in Scorpio. So there is the 1-7 dynamic. Not matching 1 to 4 because there is no Devgana here. As a fundamental principle I follow, Ganas should be first matched. Do not match mismatched Ganas, you'll have a disaster scenario. Then you'll head for a divorce lawyer, 100%. Don't do that. Or you'll have an unhappy marriage. What's the point? So, Mrigashira moon of the lady and Anuradha moon of the man. What does this dynamic lead us? What kind of dynamic? Because dynamic changes. Okay, this is 1-7 axis. So the core values here are Mrigashira will bring in search, curiosity, sensory bonding, mental movement, adaptability, comfort seeking, conversational intimacy. So in Mrigashira, there is always the sense of hunting something, hunting knowledge, exploratory nakshatra. Anuradha, on the other hand, Scorpio, becomes loyalty. It's about devotion. It's about emotional depth. It's about commitment. It's about trust and testing. It's about endurance. It's about transformative bonding. See, it's put aspects of Scorpio in it. Now, how will this play out in the 1-7 signature? Self versus other. So it's like a mirror reflection now. This is powerful. 1-7s are always powerful pairs, but there's got to be a great care in handling. I just gave you some tips in the previous slide. Great care of kindness is required. Patience is required. This signature also provides an explorer and anchor phenomena. The anchor being Anuradha, explorer being Mrigashira in this case. Questioning versus commitment. Again, Mrigashira versus Anuradha. Light curiosity, Mrigashira, head of a deer. Deer is very light on the feet. Versus deep loyalty, which is Anuradha. Ruled by Saturn, just like Pusha Nakshatra. So it will be having that patient loyalty behind it. Mental attraction versus emotional fusion. If you remember the life lesson of Anuradha Nakshatra, it's that the energetic orgasm that Anuradha seeks is in the highest graduation of love. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but you can look up my playlist of nakshatras, it's there. Life lesson of each nakshatra. Very interesting, that one. This is a classic opposites magnetism. Attraction is immediate, personal, and defining. It'll be that across the room you look at one another and you're instantly attracted. That kind of attraction. The keywords here being there is a strong polarity. One is very exploratory, one is very reserved. Magnetic pull. The really opposites attract phenomena is in 1-7 axis. The sexual depth is there. Anuradha is always seeking sexual depth. Emotional gravity is there because it's a patient sign. 1-1 fixation is there. Anuradha will be fascinated with Mrigashira. They're complete opposites. And so is Mrigashira fascinated with Anuradha. They're complete opposites in nature. You matter more than the world kind of fixation is there in this dynamic. Mrigashira is drawn to Anuradha's emotional gravity. Anuradha is intrigued, then invested in Mrigashira's mental freshness and openness. Psychological dynamic here may become Mrigashira explores to understand, Anuradha bonds to transform. See, very different place, isn't it? In each nakshatra there will be this unique signature. I'll bring it one by one. So we are not hurried through this whole process. I don't want to hurry the process. The push-pull patterns there. Freedom testing versus loyalty demands. Lightness versus seriousness. Questions versus vows. See, all this is Mrigashira to Anuradha pattern matching. The risky words here being Anuradha can get very possessive. Mrigashira wants to explore. Anuradha wants to say, I want to keep you for myself. Freedom. Emotional control versus curiosity. So control versus curiosity dynamic might also be risky. Trust testing. This is not a very good idea to test trust in partnerships. It should be a given. Withdrawal versus intensity. Another one to be careful of. Silence as power. Giving the silent treatment. Saturn nakshatras are very good at that. Anuradha, Uttara, Bhadrapada and Pushya. Very silent treatment, If immature, this becomes obsession versus escape. If mature, it becomes devotion without suffocation. This is a high intensity marriage grade 1-7 pairing, powerful, consuming, and deeply transformative, especially with Scorpio. It succeeds only if curiosity learns commitment and the other way around. Commitment portion learns curiosity as well. Both sides have to be there, they are mirror reflections. Loyalty allows movement, trust replaces control, depth becomes dominance. It fails when depth becomes dominance. It fails when exploration feels like betrayal. So always, clingy people. You can't become clingy in a relationship. It's not going to work. Each one needs their space, each one needs their freedom. In essence, a bond that can mean the one or this is way too much kind of energy. That's this one. I shall see you in the next. I've already spoken a lot. Meanwhile, take care, be safe. I'll see you. Bye bye.